right, welcome back, everybody. This is Jeff Vanderbeck once again coming back at you with some special guests today for the Pikeville Panther podcast. And today we are talking about some really cool things. Today I'm joined by two very special people. Again, one is Superintendent David Trimble, and I have another special guest here. Her name is Taffie Wells. Miss Wells is what we call her. So welcome, both of you all. I know you're really excited to talk about some great things that are going on. Taffie, who are you? What do you do? And why are you here?
Because Mr. Trimble said I had to. Yeah, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I am.
He didn't ask you to wash your car, did he?
No.
All right, go.
No.
So you are? Go ahead.
So I'm the district assessment coordinator, instructional supervisor, and preschool director, actually.
Wait a minute. That's a lot of titles.
I
Which
know.
one do you first?
It depends on the day of the week. Today, district assessment coordinator.
Okay, so what does a district assessment coordinator do?
So I'm kind of the lady that gets all of the data sets first from KDE, and then I take those to our admin, and we, discuss it, look at it, and then we sit down with our staff and we look at all of those numbers. So we are ready to make sure our kiddos have everything they need to continue to be successful.
KDE's Kentucky Department of Education.
Yes.
Okay, now.
Okay.
Tell me, what's the big secret?
The big secret is that our high school is going to be at the highest level this year. We are the #1 district in Kentucky. Our Kentucky Summative Assessment Spring 25 scoring.
Good for you guys.
Yes.
And who takes credit for that?
The teachers, the students, the administration.
You sure it's not the assessment coordinator?
Unfortunately, no.
What about the superintendent?
No.
Yeah, no.
So being designated as #1, in the whole state?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
What does that mean? Like that, tell me, because I'm stupid.
That means that out of the district level, out of 168 districts, we are #1. So we have a 98.4 overall rating, and that takes in our reading, math, science, social studies, writing, graduation rate, post-secondary readiness, all of these factors in. So it shows that our kids continue to be successful and they perform at the excellence level. Like always, it's a tradition.
What was the highest Pikeville High School's ever been before, David?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't looked at that. No, it's the highest. This is the highest we've been since with the year. To have that ranking, of course, out of the school districts, and I have 171 districts and over 200 high schools in Kentucky. One high school. And as the individual high school, when you separate out districts, so we were actually second when you take all the high schools in Kentucky, first when you take all the districts in Kentucky at the high school level.
Sure.
In a district that has 115 years of strong tradition of education, it's an expectation and a desire that obviously our community has, that we continue to be a strong leader in education, and it helps to further that. We are very insistent that we don't define ourselves by state testing, that we use this as one marker, but we sure are proud whenever that marker is is so successful. And I think we always try to remember that kids function under a foundation, and so these kids have worked really hard from the time they've been in elementary school on up, and so a ton of credit goes to that. You ask who the credit gets. These kids started in education at a really young age with a foundation being built, working through to where they are now. And so, such a great job by our staff, and it's really easy to have success over time and to become complacent, and they don't do that. They continue to find new ways. We've brought in some new initiatives, things like that, and really we've seen success in the areas that we've really embraced those, and really proud of that. And so,
sure.
But I do. I think to answer your question on the credit, I do give credit to teachers from the time these kids started school to now. We give credit to the kids. They have to come in and they have to. There is zero. From a kid standpoint, short of the pride of the success of their district, this isn't, except for the ACT, something they use for college tuition. It isn't something they use for anything other than the pride they have in their school to go out and perform at their best level, and that's what they do. And So a ton of credit to our kids, and I will hand some credit to our district staff too. One of the things you asked, one of the things that they do, she and Kim too. I bring Amy Beth Howard into that too. Is they bring a lot of data, a lot of information, and have a lot of small group meetings with our teachers to help us continue to watch our kids. Because one of the things, this is testing information from last spring. Well, we've already tested our kids once in STAR, and we'll test them again here in the winter, and we'll watch that growth and we'll measure that. And so we do ongoing assessment. Really, it's what we use more than anything. But this is the time when you have the comparisons across the state, and then you just generally get to see the success. of
Sure.
kids.
How much pressure is it on you to? I mean, you're number one. Okay. Now everybody's in your rearview mirror. Everybody's gunning for you. How much pressure is it for the district, your teachers, the students? How much pressure's on them to continue to outperform and be number one? I mean, that's got to be. I mean, we're relishing it now. All right, we're all patting each other on the back. Now, what are we going to wake up and do tomorrow?
It's a good question that I'll answer two ways. One is that I don't think it's a ton of pressure because I know the product that we're putting out there. And so we're going to continue to do great things for kids. And so from that standpoint, I think that for me personally, and as the superintendent of this district, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and know that our kids are going to continue to get that great education. Now, if we're number 4 next year, I'm not going to say, man, we failed, because there's a whole lot of factors that go into that. You've heard me preach about the color system. I know Russ has heard me, and Micah called me the other day.
Yes.
Down at the Batesville Herald now, and she's like, I know how you feel about that color system. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's poor, and I think it punishes high-performing districts because, when you perform at a high level, and then you perform the next year at a high level and you don't have dips and peaks and valleys, then ultimately what happens is, I mean, our elementary, for example, almost really, really close to being the same as the previous year. Well, that makes them a green school, not because they performed less, because they took a group of kids, had them in a really good place the previous year, took a group of kids, got them in the same place.
Right.
And then ultimately they're green because we don't have the significant change. Well, we want to get kids to a high place when they finish a grade, and we're comparing different kids.
Sure.
And so, from that standpoint, I think that we always want to perform in a way that we hand results out to our community and say, look, we're doing a great job with your kids. You expect that of us. You are very supportive. You heard me last time I was here. I think we live in a community that is just fantastic and loves education, loves kids, supports education. We have families that support the work we do at home, and we are really good partners with them. And so we always want to place that product. But I'm confident that no matter what a test score looks like, that when these kids walk through the door, that I can guarantee the people who trust us with them that they couldn't get a better education anywhere else. And I feel that way. And so, but on the flip side, does it put a little pressure on you? Yeah. And yeah, of course, I think, every year we say, man, we performed at this level. You have that little bit of a dip. What's the first thing it does? It changes your color. And then ultimately, your overall indicator is impacted by that change score too. Some of that's not just performance level. It's also how much change you had.
Sure.
So our elementary, for instance, it was 2 points difference. They actually achieved 2 points higher than what their indicator showed because they didn't have as much change. And that's unfortunate because then people want to start measuring things.
Sure.
I just don't measure it like that.
Right.
So, there's always pressure to comparatively be great, but there's also, we come in, I think, every day with a great confidence that we're going to do it right for our kids. And our kids are going to do it right, and we're going to do well.
Taffie, tell me what it looks like in your day to be the liaison between the superintendent, the board, the teachers, the students. What does that look like for you?
I am very much so a support. So if they call, if they need me, they invite me into the building. I go into the classroom. I work with teachers. We have PLCs. We talk about instruction, curriculum. He mentioned our STAR test scores. We're constantly looking at those. We take those 3 times a year, and then we have formulas correlated to where we can watch our NAPD growth. That way we can compare it at the end of the school year to see, are we doing what we need to reach reach these KSA goals. A lot of times it's not just assessment things that we talk about. They'll ask us to come in and see exciting things that they're doing. They're proud of what the kids are doing in the classes. It just varies from day to day, really.
So you're more analytical than anything else. You're analyzing numbers, you're analyzing research, you're analyzing data. But when you get into the human part of it, how do you transport that data to the student who is struggling in the classroom, or who may need some extra help, or a teacher who may need some extra help getting that student to come on, or a group of students come on board? How do you take that data and humanize it to the individual?
So we track our students individually because, like he was saying, last year's third graders will be fourth graders this year testing. So it's kind of hard to, compare third grade last year to third grade this year. So we like to look at the individual child, and it's what they're doing in the classroom. It's what they're doing on assessments. And then that particular teacher will notice, oh, okay, they were here. Maybe we see a little dip, and they'll pull them and they'll work with them at different tiered levels of instruction to where maybe they'll do a small group. Maybe it's phonics in a lower classroom. So we're not just talking testing grade levels. We're talking preschool and up. If they see that kiddo needs extra assistance with whatever to help them move to that next skill level, they'll do that. And, they progress monitor, they track it. And then if they see that maybe they still need more, we have a multi-tiered support system that's like interventionist that will work with our teachers and pull individually or more small groups so that kiddo gets what they need. And then we have ESS, which sometimes could be some after school work, help with the kids and lots of other things like that.
How important is it for kids to have other involvements besides just showing up and going to school? How important is it to have kids get involved with music or sports or one of the after school programs? Do you think that's a huge factor in kids' education opportunities?
I do. And especially here, I think we have the community, the parents support, and the kids want to be involved. It's not just all about sports. There's drama clubs, there's academics, there's student council. Leader in Me is a new program that we've been working with the last 2 years. And students are taking leads with that in clubs and things like that, having their voice heard and bringing ideas and things to us. I mean, they'll come to Mr. Trimble during lunch and they're like, hey, we have this idea. Could we possibly try this? So they're really taking it all on themselves. They love to be a part. So, that extra, not just academics, I guess, that extra.
Sure. And when you hear Mr. Trimble, Mr. Trimble, there I go again. I think if I would come, look like your dad.
I mean, whatever you like.
David, when these students bring these ideas to you, do you just look at yourself and say, where are they coming up with this stuff? Let's do it. This is great. Or you saying, no, we need to concentrate on getting these test scores up? Or what the heck is going through your mind when these kids are bringing this stuff to you?
I think that it's definitely not an immediate no, and we got to focus just on a test score. And again, it goes back to our philosophy that we've had since we've been doing this here, and is again, this testing it's important and significant. We've got a lot of great successes to celebrate, but a kid's more than a test score to us, and their successes and their love for being here and the overall experience that they have. And too, I think that those kinds of extracurriculars, whether it be in the arts, whether it be in the athletics or whatever it may be, our academic team at the elementary is getting ready to compete here in just a few minutes. And, that opportunity to build those relationships with other people, that opportunity to go out and publicly perform and become comfortable with those types of venues and work is significant. And so our kids, I'll be honest, in 22 years in 3 districts, I've never seen kids who are involved in as much as our kids are. And sometimes I say, that's too much.
Right.
We've had kids participate in 4 sports in a year. And you think there's no way they're going to be able to do this. And then they do it at a very high level. But they're really driven. And I think that drive, ultimately, if we're doing it right, it all works together in that full piece to support their education and to support their overall growth as human beings. Because we want to obviously help kids come out with a great education, a great knowledge of information. But bigger than that, we want kids to leave us that are prepared to be fantastic human beings and prepared to be greatly successful out in the world. And I think we've seen that success over the history of the district. That's the kind of people we're producing, and whether they're going to be here in Pikeville and be great leaders here in this community, or whether they're going to be, we've got kids as far as California and Colorado right now,
Right,
and we know that in all places in between, wherever they are, we want them to be greatly impactful and to live what we believe is their success. And I probably said it on the last podcast. I oversay it. Our rule is we help kids find their path to success. We can't place them on it, and we can't determine what success looks like. We have to let them determine what success looks like. Help them find that. Help them see their opportunities.
Sure.
And get them there.
You're giving them plenty of paths to choose, but they're the ones that are making the ultimate.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you guys the same question, but I'm going to phrase it differently. So, David, I'll start with you. If you had the students in the gymnasium right now, based upon these test results, what would you tell these students?
Number one, I'd tell them we're extremely proud of them, and just because of their mindset and their approach to education. That's huge. We are not going to see success as a school district if our kids don't come in and they're not plugged in, excited, and ready to learn. I would also tell them, show a lot of love to the people who educate you. I think that you've heard me say it. I said it last time I was here. Our faculty and staff, I wouldn't trade them for anybody. I just think they love what they do. Taffie did a really nice job of explaining what a number turns into when we look at.
Sure.
And I thought that was a great question you asked. When we look at trying to close gaps and trying to remove barriers and helping kids be successful, well, that takes extra time, that takes extra energy, and it's a whole lot harder to plan for the individual child than it is for a group of kids. But if all you do is plan to do the exact same thing for a group of kids without finding some differentiation opportunities, some of those kids are going to be greatly successful, and some kids are just going to fail, and you're going to create greater gaps.
No child left behind.
That's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Teaching sure if that is hard. And so I think I would tell our kids, look, have gratitude for those who really invest in you. And I just think that if folks could see the kind of work that our faculty and staff put in from our classrooms, but also the kind of pride that our cooks put into feeding kids and making sure, because that's a barrier. There are kids, people don't want to believe it, but in every district, including ours, there are kids who come in some days and they're just hungry. Yes. And they get to eat. They got to eat a taco at both places today. That was fantastic. I tried them both. I had a taco at each place. And that lunch at both places was fantastic. They fed them Thanksgiving dinner last week. It was fantastic. And so you do that. You come into a clean environment and a safe environment because our maintenance staff, you ride on a bus and you have a comfortable ride here because our bus drivers do a great job. You walk into the school and you feel loved because you talk to our front office staff, who's fantastic, and our instructional aides that come in and support the education and do some of that differentiated instruction. All those people.
Sure.
It takes all those people to be successful. So I would say, make sure you show gratitude there, but then also go home and thank your families that they care about your education.
Exactly. Well, that comes to you, Taffie. Mm-hmm. If you had the parents of the students in the gymnasium, what would you say to them about this results of this test scores?
How about those Panthers? No.
That is very competitive, by the way. This is going to be.
Yeah, just a little. I would smile at them and say thank you. And I would say, look around at all of these kids from the time they enter our door, whether it's preschool as 3 and 4-year-olds or, sometimes kindergarten as 5-year-olds. This is our why. Each and every day, no matter what color we are, no matter what our test score is, this is our why. Look around. Thank you for trusting us. This is why we do what we do. And we want to make sure we continue to do everything we can at that level. So from the time they walk through that door and they're greeted by us to the time we hug them, tell them we love them at the end of the day or the end of graduation, they're ready to go out and be successful.
Fantastic. Job ready, career ready. You guys are doing a great job. Fantastic work on being number one in the state at the district at this level,
and middle school and elementary top 20 in the state. So
it's amazing stuff. I mean,
great.
That's really good. You ought to be. Go ahead.
If I can, I'm just going to read just real quick. I know
you're good.
I'm over time. You have to factor in my talking in the time.
Always
in the top 20 at the elementary level by district. 5th grade editing and mechanics 3rd, 5th grade on-demand writing 4th, 6th grade reading 6th, 5th grade reading 7th, fourth grade reading 7th, fourth grade math 7th, fifth grade social studies 9th, fourth grade science 10th. We also had fifth grade math 17th, sixth grade math 18th, and third grade math 19th. That's at the elementary level, just fantastic across the board, their successes. And the same thing at the high school, when you combine reading and math together, which is the two that are federally reported, number one in the state. As a combined number, as Mr. Blackburn has a slide on that. I trust him. He got that right. Number 2 at the middle school, number 11 in math, number 16 in science, number 4 in math in the state rankings, 6 in science, 8 in reading, 19 social studies, and then at the high school level, which, like I say, combine reading and math, you get number 1. Number 2 in reading, number 3 in math, number 7 in writing, number 9 in social studies, number 12 in science. At the district level, and then number 1 in reading at the state level.
While it's always a good thing to be number 1, there's always room for continued improvement. And I know that you guys are always striving for that. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for being here today. Congratulations on such a great report card. You guys get to watch dinner. You guys got to watch TV a little extra hour and go to bed at 10 o'clock tonight instead of 9. So continue to do the good work. I know the kids appreciate you, the community appreciates you, and the students do so. So thank you for joining us.
And we're really proud to get to do that in this community, and we're really thankful. I would reiterate that again. We're thankful for our community. We're thankful for our family.
You know, the only way you can continue to stay is if you're number 1. So just stop messing around. Get back to
in the rusher. I need to go back to that question. Can we edit that earlier question? I'm a little nervous.
That's too late. Too little. Too late. So thanks again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This ends another of short episode of the Pikeville Panther podcast. Great news today. Congratulations to the kids. Go have a big party, get pizza, have more tacos, enjoy it. And as you guys said, go Panthers.